in a row. So y'all getting one, P. You getting one. IT, go ahead and roll that.
Savage, savage, savage.
You warmed up yet? Nothing like this on stage. Green lady, TV, a cable lady. Hey! Are you serious? No, I'm not even gonna say the N-word. What? Fucking black guy! Get these fucking monkey niggas out of here and you can't do shit. That's big fucking shit. 3602 Gramercy Way, that's where I live. Come fucking see me. All right, Leroy. Who's the one and only mountain? I am. Fortunately, Raj, that's a great finish. Not the ending I had in mind, but it's a great finish. See, a 45 will put an end to all this kung fu crap. All it takes is one little bullet to take your final bow.
Savage, savage.
Well, that was pretty climactic, wasn't it there? Listen, y'all. This is how deep we take it, right? So I was scrolling through Facebook like I normally do, and I ran across most amazing top 10, right? And this says the top 10 longest prison sentences given to teens. And just so y'all know, I don't be BS. Look at that comment. It's saying this list is so racially biased, just like the cases, just like the case rulings and the people involved in the charges. Listen to me. When I tell, wait till y'all see how it start off. First up the bat. Now this is teens. They got the longest sentences. Y'all gonna notice something. First up
Here
the bat.
are the top 10 longest prison sentences given to teens. Starting at number 10 with Eric Smith. Eric Smith became a well-known face in the news not for his freckled face, but because his minimum sentence for taking another person's life was 9 years and the maximum? Life in prison. Eric Smith was served this sentence after he committed a violent crime at just 13 years old, and the crime was horrific. He had kidnapped a young child and ended his life using a rock. After the whole incident happened, Smith was diagnosed with intermittent explosive disorder. To explain—
Let's not just gloss over that. Cuz was a shorty. He kidnapped another shorty and killed the shorty with a rock.
Right.
That's gruesome. Where he learned that?
Ain't no video game teaching that.
But the freckle face and the hecka. Really? Wait, you ain't even heard the splainage. Wait.
Why he did what he did at such a young age. He was a lonely student who was the subject of intense bullying, so he had become desensitized to harm or just had to succumb to his uncontrollable violent tendencies.
What?
Or he just had to succumb to they were uncontrollable urges. So it's not really his fault. He was forced to do such things.
What? He had no choice. Bullying? It was he just became numb from bullying?
Smith ended up serving 28 years of this sentence, and the juvenile killer was released from the Woodburn Correctional Facility in Sullivan County, New York on February 1st, 2022. He was actually supposed to be released a few months earlier, but he hadn't been able to acquire an approved address. Today, Eric Smith is 43 years old and is living in Queens, New York, trying to find work, and has also gotten engaged to a woman who wrote to him while he was in prison to learn about the juvenile detention system.
Now, I want y'all to remember story number 10, right? Story number 10, we got a white boy who killed another white person with a rock, went to jail, served all the time, got out, looking for work, finna get married. Remember that. I want you to remember that. Okay?
Up at number 9 is Ashley Martinson. Ashley Martinson was responsible for the death of her own mother and stepfather.
She killed her own mother and stepfather.
And she already made it sound like responsible, like she's taking accountability for what she has done.
When she was 17 years old. Ashley had enough of her abusive stepfather, and this man was truly horrible. He on one occasion had taken the life of their family dog in an angry fit.
How do you know?
The victim?
How do you
blaming the victim?
How do you know about this story you about to tell about in one time in front
family dog in an angry fit in front of Martinson and her sister when they were children at the time. The stepfather was named Thomas Ayers, and he was an awful, awful role model for Martinson.
Awful, awful. Not one awful, two.
To blame the victim?
Two awfuls, not one. Awful, awful.
The victim? The victim?
Yes, the victim.
He was aggressive and resolved conflicts by getting violent towards the women of the family, and this was common for the many partners of Jennifer Ayers, who was the mother of Ashley Martinson. Ayers had dated men who were abusive towards her and her daughter.
More victim blaming?
Just on every man that ever came in their life.
Every one of them. All of them.
Hold on. Did you just hear that?
Yes.
So every man that they ever came in contact with, P.
Every one of them was trash.
Wow.
Her mama couldn't pick right for nothing. All trash.
Every man, P?
Every one of them.
So hold on. You got to even be talking about the uncles.
All of them.
You ain't have one man, a role model, just all of, not a grandpa, just all of them was just
all of them.
Devious.
All of them.
Devilish Decepticons.
All of them.
In the moments leading up to the stabbing of her mother and shooting of her stepfather, Martinson claimed she was so distraught from being abused by her parents that she was going to take her own life. But in her rage, took the life of her parents using 2 different weapons on each of them. It was then uncovered that she had struck her mother 30 times before running away with her older boyfriend and being found and arrested.
Now, I want y'all to remember this story too. She stabbed her mother 30 times.
Martinson received a 40-year sentence, but a good chunk of that she can actually spend on supervised release from.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
Did you hear how she perked up?
Did you hear? Yes. Did you? The tone changed and everything. Look,
but the good news is.
The good news.
Received a 40-year sentence, but a good chunk of that she can actually spend on supervised release from prison, so there's a chance Martinson will be released within the next few decades. Next at number 8 is Joshua Phillips.
You're advocating for her release.
Listen,
like
there's a chance.
You're cheerleading.
There's a chance that she might be released in the next few decades.
with good behavior minus and then carry the one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll
Carry-
all be waiting. We're excited till she gets out and what her plans are.
not carry the one though.
He
All right, so here we go. Josh Phillips. Now hold up. There we go, Josh.
Phillips. Joshua Phillips is still in prison serving his life sentence today. When Phillips was 14 years old, he secretly took the life of his young neighbor. The
So we got another nigga that went over to the neighbor's crib and just felt like it was cool. We got
just went to
another.
the neighbor's house.
Yeah, little Timmy or Susie was over there, and he said, "Hey, nobody cares about little Tim. Wait till you hear what he did, though. Oh, wait."
worst part is the teen kept the victim's body in his bed and slept on the mattress above the remains until his mother discovered the decomposing body of Maddie Clifton. The terrible crime happened on November 3rd, 1998 in Jacksonville, Florida, and Phillips still sits behind bars. When it happened, the boy claimed he had hurt the girl with a baseball bat by accident and to ensure he wouldn't face the consequences of his abusive father.
Well, you know. Might as well kill her. I don't want to face the consequences of my abusive father. So
Because,
I might as well kill the
would
little
have
girl.
he would have gave me a spanking for killing someone. For hitting them upside the head with a baseball bat, P.
Used a deadly weapon to end her life and hid the body to the best of his 14-year-old ability. At 33 years old,
To the best of his 14-year-old ability. Well, would you look at that?
Could do.
Well, would you look at that? Would you look at that? Would you look at it? Just take a look at it.
And then, oh, look at the picture they showing. Oh, look at him try to. Oh,
That was the one. That's who he got. That's who was under the bed.
that's who
Phillips
they killed?
testified that at 14, he didn't know what he was doing
that was
and
me.
that he regretted what happened. But this was not enough for the courts, who decided to withhold his sentence
this
and
was
not
not
release the man
enough.
early. His sentence is set to be reviewed once again in 2024, and today Phillips is 39 years old. Up at number 7,
They
we
still
have
gonna give him a shot.
Brian Lee Draper. Brian Draper's case is an instance of an influenced child that went way too far. The teen claimed that he was inspired
Influenced child that went way too far.
He was forced to do it.
He was inspired by what?
by the Scream horror film franchise, but not by the victims in the film. He wanted to be the Ghostface killer.
Well, isn't that daring?
Isn't that original?
All right, like no, he
You
didn't.
got to
wanna
give
be-
him some points for that.
He didn't want to be the victim. He wanted to be the killer himself.
I mean,
Draper
that
and his
takes
buddy at
gumption.
school, Tori Adamczyk, fully planned and executed a crime that would result in the stabbing death of their classmate Cassie Jo Stoddart. When the investigation
So why is these little white dudes killing all the little white girls? Now that's That's 4 stories where little white dudes felt like they needed to go kill the little white neighbor, little Becky. Now he wanted. Now. Did you see how they slipped the other dude in there though? Real quick, they said he wanted to be the slasher film dude, and then he convinced his homeboy to come along with the plot. So these two, listen to what they say they do.
into the crime began, the police found chilling videotapes of the two boys discussing the brutal crime. They targeted their victim, even filming her as she put her books into her locker at school while talking about how they were going to end her life. At just 15 years of age, the two boys managed to score an invite into the home of their targeted victim.
Managed to score? They managed to score an invite into the home? Gosh, those guys are diabolical.
Not innovative.
Yeah.
Geniuses.
They scored? Points on the
Look
board?
how innovative. Look at their innovation.
Hold up, but wait. There's more. Hold up, but they scored though. I just want y'all to hear score.
they left, one of them unlocked a door to be able to get in later to commit the crime. After entering and finally ending Stoddard's life, they continued to document their feelings about the crime, and there was even footage of them bragging about this, which is just so disturbing. 9 of Stoddard's 30 total wounds were fatal, and her family was left with devastation. The crime happened on
her 30 total wounds. You talking about like them stabbing her to death? How about that?
Look, that's the one time she was like, this was disturbing. It's the first time I've ever, out of all these serial killings, not serial killings, after all these whackings that done happened, all the neighbors that done been killed,
Right, little
all
girls
the
and all of
white
that.
women.
Yeah.
This the first time she was like, well, that was, and hold on, it wasn't deranged. It wasn't, you know what I'm saying? It was just a tad disturbing.
Right. Hold on, there's more.
On September 22nd, 2006, and Draper and Adam Chick were arrested just a few days later on September 27th. They were given each life sentences, not necessarily because one was more responsible than the other, but because they blamed each other for the crime, so it wasn't exactly clear who initiated the act. Today, the boys, who are now men, are 32 and 33 years old and sit behind bars both at the Idaho State Correctional Institution. And at number 6 is John Anthony Silva. John Silva is known for being the 15-year-old who was tried as an adult in the state of Florida when he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole in 2001. Silva was responsible for strangling a younger peer to death before disposing of the body in a dry septic tank.
A peer? Was that peer a female? Maybe perhaps a white one.
Maybe the neighbor.
I'm starting to see a pattern here. A septic tank? That's at a house.
It is a house.
Is crimes mostly in proximity? I could assume so. Is that white on? Is this a lot of white on white crime?
Well, I'll be dang.
Is that what this is?
Well, I'll be dang.
Is the peer black though? That's another thing though. That could be another question. Because it could also be racial attacks. They said peer, didn't want to say. I mean, come on now. When do they ever not take? I'm saying the peer's black now. Because if it was Becky, they'd have to have you know it. They would show the cute little picture of when she was missing a tooth in the 6th grade.
Maybe it's still early.
All right, hold on. Let me see what they got.
In May of 2000, the body was discovered with a note on it. The note included instructions seemingly written for Silva by Silva as how to deal with the victim. The notes on the paper included words such as gag, tie up hands, and cover eyes. The courts determined that the 15-year-old had no remorse for his crimes, taking only 2 hours to reach a final verdict, which is actually very, very short amount of time for a trial. It was determined by Assistant District Attorney Gary Wood that, quote, John Silva is capable of killing another human being again. He will die in prison, and that's exactly how the teen killer will spend the rest of his days. So what did he have to say when he was sentenced? Well, he said, quote, I'm sorry, I didn't mean for this to happen. Well, it happened, and today he calls prison his permanent home at 37 years of age. Next.
So
yeah, maybe because ain't no mention of said victim.
Fam. But do you think they would put a white man in jail for that long for doing something to a black person though?
Nope.
Right?
I'm saying nope. No
Right.
way, no how.
Right. So
he would have had the loophole with the Cheerio loop getting out.
yeah. But hold up, we have 5.
At number 5 is Joe Ligon. Joe Ligon was known as America's longest serving child prisoner that was given a life sentence at 15 years old. Ligon was born in 1937 or 1938,
cool.
we don't actually know for sure, and so his crimes and sentencing happened in the 1950s. The man served 68 years of his life sentence after being found guilty of a deadly crime by association.
Now, wait a minute. So he was found by association, which means that like that's subjective, and we already know how the criminal justice system works. So why he number 5?
Right. Why he even on the list?
Wait till you see what the next 4 is. You know they all black now, right? You know they all got to be black. The top ones got to be black. But wait till you hear what the black people are accused of. You're like, wait a minute.
No 30 times?
Ligon
Nobody
claimed
got
he had no
stabbed?
part in these crimes and believed he was mistreated as a young boy in the American justice system. He hopes that similar cases are never repeated, and many agree with him. He was the focus of many publications after being released in 2021, after fighting the legal forces that were trying to keep him incarcerated. With a will to live in freedom, Ligon followed the rules until he was let out at 83 years old. It was said that his arrest was the result of questionable police work,
Questionable.
Right. So on this list, how he number 5? Anybody who did anything 30 times, because there was like 2 different ones that did 30 times, stabbings of 30
Notice
times.
see what they're psychologically trying to tell you. The most heinous of crimes from children against other children in so-called PC society is nothing to a man falsely accused for a crime he could potentially have not committed. He just but his skin color. See,
Made him 5. He's a gruesome monster. He may have did it or may not have done it. That makes him, but he's black, and I know he's a monster.
and he must have done it because he spent 68 years in prison. No, that don't mean that. You see what I'm saying?
Allegedly, Ligon was given a written confession by police that he was forced to sign so that the case would be closed, but it is believed that since he is most likely not involved in the actual taking of someone's life, today Ligon would only have faced about 5 years in jail, so much has changed since the time of his sentencing, and probably for the better.
What? What?
And maybe, I don't know. It could, maybe it's better. I'm not so sure. I'm not positive if it's really better or not.
But you just got done saying that he had the falsified whoopty wops and the wing wang wingles. How is he 4? I mean, 5.
Right.
Okay, here goes number 4.
At number 4 is Eddie Devine. Eddie Devine made headlines when he became the 17-year-old that was sentenced to 130 years in prison. What's even more tragic is that Devine was only 13 years old when the crimes that got him the sentence were committed, and they were something you'd expect from a crazed adult killer. The unbelievable crime—
Hold up, no. Oh, really? Now he's a crazed adult killer? You see this? I was sitting here getting heated when I was watching this. Like, it was like all sunny outside when you was talking about.
I mean, all cheery voiced.
Now we talk crazed killer, adult killers. You didn't call any of them crazed adult killers.
Because he didn't kill no one while he was an adult.
Wait a minute. Wait, here we go.
Crimes included the assault and kidnapping of multiple women from 2013 to 2014. Devine and his friend Remy Harvey were responsible for working together to bring violent harm to innocent people.
So they didn't kill nobody? So they didn't kill nobody?
Hold on. Hold on, man.
So they got 130 years and they ain't killed nobody? But your boy stabbed little Janie next door and out and looking for work and is engaged in New York? Fam? That's why I told y'all to remember that. Really?
Wow.
Straight up? That's what you telling me?
Leading to a hefty sentence for a list of crimes including armed carjacking, armed robbery, and kidnapping.
130 years though?
Dang.
Never seeing the light of day ever be.
But you whack somebody.
And put them under the mattress. Put them under. You put them under the mattress, B.
Slept with
Multiple
him.
counts of each charge added up to a total of 130 years behind bars, and it became clear Devine would die in prison. And this could be decades from now, since the Jackson, Mississippi resident is just in his early 20s today. When he was 16 and facing a judge named Kent McDaniel, the judge said, "Mr. Devine, I'm blown away by your criminal activity at such a young age. I don't know what else could possibly be done in your life to rescue you." Well,
Tether.
Dang.
Did she
Made
say that?
sure to show her too. Made sure.
Did she? Yeah, right. You see? Yeah,
You ain't
right.
shown not one judge.
Not one. But gotta show that one. It was a black one that put her away. It was a black one. What?
Wow.
Man, I told you this was deep.
And didn't even kill. How do you make the top killer list without killing nobody?
No. It's the most time gave to teens, which makes it even worse.
Oh, wow.
Which makes it even worse.
Wow.
Which makes it even worse. Which makes it, when you bring it all back, when you really stir it all back in the pot and you really bring it all back, and make it even worse now. So you telling me the 5 people who actually killed people ain't worse? Now we got 2 people who ain't even killed nobody.
So just think of how many folks done killed folks and didn't even make it this far. Like they didn't get that much time. You think there ain't killers out here that just didn't get as much, that barely got any time, P?
Because a lot of them.
That's why
There's
they ain't on
killers
the
out
list.
here that never even got charged.
Wow.
But there's more.
I agree, because if you look into the details of his crimes, it's obvious that this young man was truly an evil teenager that
What?
Wow. You didn't even call none of the killers evil.
If you look into his crimes, not evil like stuffing little Becky under the bed? Not evil like stabbing your mother 30 times? Your mother?
Yo.
A
Damn.
truly evil kid, man. It made me want to reach out and man. This is what we got to deal with. And this is just casually all on Facebook for people to see. You know, it's kind of interesting, top 10s. Everybody like top 10s.
Right.
would have grown into an even more evil adult.
Really?
Dang.
Really?
Not like the one that's free right now
Really,
looking
guys?
for work and getting married. He ain't no evil adult, though.
No. But these guys would have grown up. They were so evil as a kid. Evil.
Without killing anybody, of course.
Evil. Just the essence of evilities.
Without killing nobody, of course.
With no murder. None.
Not stabbings.
Not so much as he ain't even pinch a nigga. And it's not funny. But he's the evil one. Man, oh my God, this makes me so mad. If you're a black person, like it's my God, it's so hard to deal with this kind of crap.
And at number 3, we have Bobby Bostic. In December of 1995, 16-year-old Bobby Bostic had been heavily under the influence when he and some friends decided it was time to commit multiple robberies for their own personal financial.
So you know that he was under
robberies.
the influence. So you know that he was under the influence. So you already know that he wasn't in his right mind.
And you know that's a tether too, straight up though.
gain. After all, it was around Christmas time and cash flow in local businesses was significantly higher. Using a deadly weapon, Bostic and some friends went around their Missouri neighborhood terrorizing people by hurting them until they gave up their money. After being caught, the judge would sentence Bostic to 241 years in prison total, even though he hadn't actually taken anybody's life.
Well, how is this guy? Why do they get the most time then? Why is that?
That's why you was better off just popping them then.
Why, and why again? Why are we talking about these three gentlemen who hasn't taken anybody's lives that got the biggest sentences?
Turns out the judge who gave the sentence regretted making the decision because initially the man would have had to wait until he was 112 years old for parole.
You regret making the decision, but you ain't go back and overturn and shit, did you?
Did you?
Did you?
Did you?
Did you?
And we know that he wouldn't have made it that far. This got the attention of the media because many people were upset at the harshness Bostic experienced by those in the justice system. The judge believed after his 27 years in jail that Bostic was a changed man, and so he was actually released in 2022 thanks to her change of heart, that the freed man who made some pretty bad
Thanks to her change of heart. Not like I went above and beyond the law and over abused my power as a PC judge over a black man, a sentence that I've never given anybody else in my court ever in life.
But you see, he did get some of that tether treatment, though, P.
Of
Now
course
he could change. Now he could change his life, but the other dude was so evil.
So evil.
He was
So
gonna be
evil.
an evil adult. He ain't even made it through the years yet, and we already know it don't even matter. Fam's
Ain't nothing you can
beyond
do.
redemption.
Ain't nothing we can do. What?
Yeah, 16 years old. He's a done deal. We
But-
just know. We
but
just
you-
know it.
But
El
you,
Negro, you're done.
but you can kill little Janie and put her under your bunk bed. Is that what I'm just saying though? And there's hope for you.
Yeah, you can get out. You can still search for work and be selective.
and be
You know,
engaged.
listen. All I know is any brothers who I know that have been released from the jail, they had to immediately secure employment. Immediately.
I didn't even catch that. He was supposed to get out 2 months earlier, but he couldn't secure an address.
Right.
But then y'all just let him on out and just go ahead and let him look for some work. He got to look.
And been looking.
decisions at a young age would affect him forever. Next is number 2, Kenneth Young. Kenneth Young's fate was decided at just 14 years old when he was put in a terrible situation by his mother. When he was 15, he was told he would never be able to go home again because he was given 4 consecutive life sentences. So what did the young teen do to receive this? Well, he felt he had no choice. His mother was indebted to a dealer of illegal substances, being an addict herself, and so the dealer decided she could pay him back by using her son as an armed robber to acquire some extra money. One mother believes Young was given such a hefty sentence because he was viewed as a smaller adult by the courts and
Why ain't nobody killed nobody on the list? Why?
not the child that he really was. This mother had a son go through the same process, and so she explained that Young didn't deserve the sentence, and she ended up being right. It was determined that Young's brain was not fully developed when he had committed the crimes in 2000, and that he had been rehabilitated during his time away from his dysfunctional family, and he was released from a Florida prison in 2021 thanks to a change in state mandates regarding the imprisonment of children. And at number 1, we have Travion Blunt. Travion Blunt was given a staggering 6 life sentences plus 118 years for being involved in an armed robbery.
What the? What just? What?
Where someone
What?
had been hurt but not killed. And
Huh? No one was killed? So hold on. You can go ahead and stab your mama
And her
30
boyfriend. No,
times.
and shoot her boyfriend. She used two different weapons. She stabbed her mother 30 times and she shot the shit out of him.
And you could get out and be Gucci.
Yeah, and she ain't got to serve the 40 years. Most of them she get to serve on supervision, outside in the real world.
Wow.
But cuz right here,
the crazy thing is that Travion received this sentence when he was a 15-year-old. He had gotten involved with the wrong people, and this, he believed, had cost him his freedom for life. It wasn't until the sentence was met with public backlash that the courts felt compelled to re-sentence the young man. In fact, the two 18-year-olds involved in the holding up of a house party only received about a decade of jail time each. So why was Travion targeted so heavily by the judge that sentenced
I wonder why.
Wow. So they only got 10 years.
him? Well, this is hard to understand because the man ended up only serving 14 years of his 6 life sentences because the punishment was deemed to be cruel and unusual by Blunt's lawyer, John Coggeshall. Since his release after the crime that happened back in 2006, the man has been able to get a new job and has reconnected with his family, who has welcomed him home with open arms. Here are
So, what did we learn here today, kids? Complexion for the protection is Rizil. And you got to do a whole lot to get put in jail for life with them. You got to go across the street and kill Becky, is what you got to do as a young kid. And even then, they're going to diagnose you with explosive, I don't know what I did disorder. Explosive, I don't know what I did disorder, and acute, I'm too white to understand syndrome. That's what it is, man. That's what it is, dude.
Hold on. I'm too white to understand, P.
You worked in a
Yeah,
mill.
I'm too white to understand syndrome.
I shouldn't be under this type of pressure.
Dude, this shit's crazy. Man, I ain't gonna hold y'all, man, but I'm gonna just mold.
Yanni.
Yeah, that one took me out, man, mentally. That took me out, dude. I ain't gonna hold you, but I'm gonna mold you, fold you, scold you about being on code, and I got 4 words for you. Love with the peace, got the blessings, and aloha, out the door high, for sure high. You already know how. Can I get a